I'm late.
No, you got here right on time.
No, I'm late.
It's the Late Show.
Sorry, I'm late.
You're too late.
The wizard is never late.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm gonna see the show.
But not to come late. You are late.
You're late, man. Always late, huh?
The hour grows late.
You're late. I'm not paying for those.
But is he already too late to save his friends?
You're too late.
And I'm like, dude.
You're not going from Mary Poppins to a savage killer.
I would say yes, it lives up to the hype. What little hype I had for it was pretty damn good.
So,
It's been a little bit.
yes, okay.
We're back.
Hello, everyone. This is Late to the Show podcast with John and Jake.
We're trying out a new intro.
An actual intro.
Yeah.
But, sorry, we were
Off last
late.
Well, we were off last week, and we're going to be a little late today, but we're going to get... This is literally going to be the most up-to-date episode we've ever done, because we're editing it right after we're done talking and putting it up. So,
And you know what? I never promised them any time on Tuesdays. I
No,
just
you
said
did not.
every Tuesday,
as
every
long
week.
as they're up Tuesday, that's all that fucking matters.
And they haven't been. But that's okay. We've missed, 2 weeks now?
We missed 2 weeks.
And we have
one was for
episodes up?
Yes.
Okay.
This will be episode 12.
All right, cool.
We've done a dozen. All right, we're done. Good job.
Oh. I'm retarded. I'm stupid, sorry.
Did you forget what dozen means?
Well, no, I was thinking 12. Wow, we've been doing this for a year. But I'm a freaking moron.
We're not doing one a month there, Jake. I mean, maybe we've been recording about one a month, but...
Oh, that reminds me, speaking of one a month, a friend of mine, Dylan Hatcher, has a podcast as well called The Scene That Got You.
Okay.
He releases it once a month where he also talks about movies, but he talks about his friends' favorite movies. I will be recording that on Friday the 10th, and that will be going up on Wednesday the 15th. So go listen to his podcast. It is also on Spotify, Apple. He uses the same exact podcasting publisher that we do, so it'll be in quite a few places. I believe he's got it on Google as well, so go listen to that also.
I think your computer's about to do some shit.
It's trying to update, and I said no.
Sorry to interrupt the plug there for your friend's podcast, but so go listen to that one at all the places you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, we will be.
It was called, what was it called again?
It's called The Scene That Got You.
The Scene That Got You.
Yep. He's only had one episode so far, so I'll be guest number 2. The first episode was with another friend of mine, Brandon Miracle, who they talked about the movie The Lion King. I don't know if you've seen that. I think everyone's seen The Lion King.
I haven't seen the new live action one.
Well, they did not talk about that one. They talked about the original Lion King.
The new live action one's not out yet anyway, so.
Correct.
But
and we can't even pretend like it will be out by the time this podcast releases.
Yeah.
It's coming out today.
But what are we talking about today, Jake?
Today, we are talking about Men in Black 1.
The original one.
The OG, not the comic book, which apparently I didn't realize it was a comic book.
And apparently, from what I read somewhere, the comic book was much more violent and more like authoritarian and not quite so much a comedy.
Huh. Lowell Cunningham.
What?
Is the creator of the comic. He wrote the comic book, Lowell Cunningham.
Oh, Lowell.
Lowell.
Lowell. I thought you said like LOL, like you were pronouncing LOL.
Lowell. No.
But we were talking about the Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, 1997 classic. Jake,
Men in Black.
had you seen this movie before?
I had not seen this movie
Wow,
before.
a movie Jake hadn't seen. This is what, 2? Maybe 3?
I think so, yeah. That you have seen.
That I have. Okay, no, 2 that
We've done a few that neither of us have seen.
No, I guess it would be 3 because it was both of the Mortal Kombat movies and now Men in Black.
Yeah. I think there's another one, though.
Well, we both hadn't seen Clerks, and I think that was the only other one that you hadn't seen.
Huh.
So, third movie that I've seen that you haven't.
Right. Okay.
So, Jake, we'll start with you. What'd you think?
I liked it. It was different than I thought it was going to be, though.
What were you expecting?
Well, just because I knew that there was a Men in Black 2 and a Men in Black 3, all with Tommy Lee Jones, I kind of thought like it was going to be more like, like kind of more about their relationship together. Like
Okay.
more of a buddy cop style type movie.
Which it kind of was.
Kind of, but it was like, it wasn't like Lethal Weapon, where you get a lot of background information on both characters.
Correct.
So when it came to the end of it, and he said, spoiler alert, that he was looking for a replacement, not a partner.
22-year-old movie.
Yeah. 22. Okay. But when he said he's looking for a replacement, not a partner, I was like, oh, shit. That really surprised me. So the fact, and then when I looked back at the movie, how it was just kind of fast-paced rolling through it, it did kind of feel like a intro course into being a Man in Black.
Yes.
One of the Men in Black. That sounds better.
There you go.
But it was a good movie. I liked it, actually.
Yeah, and
I mean, there's like some stuff where you can see how it's dated a little bit, but that doesn't really bother me at all.
Yeah, it's some primitive CGI, like the bug at the end.
Yeah, that
Looked like Reptile from Mortal Kombat, but slightly
better.
Still better than that, but and no, I will never not bring up Mortal Kombat. Apparently,
and then also the tentacle monster in the car when it had the baby
looked infinitely better than anything
than anything in Mortal Kombat.
Well, and anything in Mortal
saying,
Kombat. I don't even think. Well, I mean, I didn't even think that looked that dated. I think for what they were doing, I thought it looked just fine.
For something in the background, it wasn't that big a
It
deal.
was a little
but
blurred
you can
out.
tell it's a
like
little older.
Yeah, but I think because it was a little blurred out and in the background, it looked real, and it like you don't immediately go to, oh, that's really crappy CGI. It's like, oh, that doesn't look bad because it's blurred out a little bit in the background, and that just helps.
All right.
But no, I mean, it astounds me that you've never seen this one, because this is one that I've seen numerous times.
It's one that I'd always see on TV, but I really actually just never cared to click on it.
That's
and it's something all my friends have seen. So like in 2013 when Men in Black 3 was coming out, everyone was jazzed up about it. Could not give a shit. It's like,
and that's fair.
I went through a lot of, you haven't seen these movies?
Yeah.
So that was a big thing for me.
One.
Yeah, for this one.
This one is, I still think, probably the best one. Like, I didn't mind 2. I know 2 gets sometimes kind of slammed, but I don't mind 2. 3 was, I think, better than 2. But I had actually forgotten that this one, and I don't know why, but I had forgotten that this movie ends with Tommy Lee Jones getting his memory erased. Even though it makes sense because, spoiler alert for the second one, it starts with, first off, the woman whose name I don't remember, who's the coroner who becomes a Men in Black operative. She is not in the second one.
At all?
At all.
They didn't even Austin Powers her out where she was like a fembot? And
no. To what I recall, she's just not in it, from what I remember. Because it opens with Will Smith and Patrick Warburton.
All right.
And Patrick Warburton is just like, he can't do it. He's like, he has like this big meltdown at like this big crying meltdown in like a restaurant, and it's humorous, and like
hilarity ensues.
Zed gets upset because Will Smith, Agent J, is constantly, I had to relook if he was J or K, I couldn't remember. Has been like neuralizing like all of his partners. Because like he's like, they're terrible. He's just like, not good enough. And says like, you need to stop fucking doing that. You need to work with somebody. And then there's this big threat, and they have to get the best MIB agent whoever was back, and they have to go get K and like bring him back into the fold. Fun fact: there is a tool that can just deneuralize you. So like if you've been neuralized, there's a machine that can give you all your memories back.
Well, yeah, I mean you can just write that into this movie, where they could write in any weapon that they wanted to in the first one.
Yeah.
Which you kind of felt like they did.
The noisy cricket.
Yeah.
But I had forgotten that was even a part of this movie. That Kay gets neuralized. He's allowed to go back to his civilian life that he wanted to quit. And I'd actually forgotten the opening scene.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Also, that that chick just took him back. Also, she didn't find her own family after he was gone for 40 years.
Yeah,
when he disappeared in the 60s.
Yeah, something like that.
30 years, I guess, is the 90s.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, you. I forgot about you. Where have you been this whole time? Stuff.
Probably neuralized her. That's again.
Well, no, he already got neuralized. So what? He just walked back to buttfuck nowhere out in Kansas and was like,
I guess.
here I am.
I guess, but
But
So
I will say this though, I do remember, if it's 2002, I remember going to the theaters to see Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and we got in the theater so early that I caught the very end of Men in Black 2. And I got to sit through the whole credits for Men in Black 2 before seeing Spider-Man.
Nice.
So before actually watching the movie, that was the most Men in Black I'd ever seen.
was watching the
Very end of Men in Black 2.
Interesting.
Luckily, I really kind of don't remember it, so I've got something to look forward to
Yeah,
now.
maybe we'll do Men in Black 2, because Men in Black International is coming out this year, so...
How do you think that's going to look? Or how do you think that looks?
It looks fine. I like Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth as a team, so...
What else has Tessa Thompson done?
She was Valkyrie in
Oh, was she Valkyrie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah, that kind of works then, I guess.
Yeah, so they've already worked together. They've definitely got some proven chemistry there on screen, so I'm excited to see them work together more. What'd you think of Vincent D'Onofrio as Edgar?
It's kind of weird. I mean, like...
He doesn't look like Vincent D'Onofrio for most of the movie.
And I kind of wonder why they even would bother casting Vincent D'Onofrio, since he, doesn't look like himself at all, doesn't use his voice at all or anything like that.
Yeah, but you get the acting chops of Vincent D'Onofrio.
I mean, what acting chops? He's just yelling and being grouchy the whole time.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
But he did a good job. I mean, he played the character well, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised that. I guess it made sense too, since he's in like rotting skin.
Yeah,
that's
just starting to like
getting
fall
grosser
apart.
and grosser and grosser.
Which is actually something I picked up this time.
Yeah,
like how like his body was starting to like decay because it was just like a skin suit.
Right. But yeah, I liked Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean, he kind of creepy guy. I mean, if you've seen Full Metal Jacket, he
very
plays really
different
weird characters. A lot of weird characters.
Yes. Except in
he makes weird
Jurassic World.
I wonder how much of this role was like an acting choice, or how much of it was like written, like the voice and stuff like that. Have you seen Magnificent Seven?
Yes.
So the big character that he plays in that,
is that
he
big trap?
has a squeaky voice. He talks like this. I wonder if it's like that. Like, was that written for you, or did you just like come up with?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Vincent D'Onofrio to.
But once they led into the the alien bio, where it said the bugs are like really angry and have basically what was it? Not Napoleon complex, but
I think that's what they said, like Napoleon complex or inferiority complex.
Inferiority complex. Then it started to really make sense. His whole like the way he was behaving the whole time and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the sugar water scene was funny too, when he first walks back in the house and he pulls his skin back like Beetlejuice.
Yep. It was actually really weird. I was going to mention earlier too before we started recording, the woman who played his wife.
Yeah.
Okay. So we watched this movie about 2 weeks ago, and Molly and I have started watching the TV series What We Do in the Shadows, based on the movie What We Do in the Shadows, and now there's a TV series of it.
What are we doing?
It's about vampires who are like living in Staten Island, and
okay, yeah. I've seen previews for that now. Okay.
It's good, especially if you like the movie. But there was a recent one, they had to go to animal control because one of them was a bat and like got caught by animal control and got locked, like, and they were trying to like rescue him from there. And this woman shows up, and I'm like, I know who this fucking woman is, and it's the woman who plays his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was so weird. I'm like, I just saw this woman in something, and we looked it up. It's like, oh, it's the wife from Men in Black.
Well, now I'm trying to find. Is she Mrs. Edelson?
No. Go back up.
Edgar doesn't have a last name.
No, I know, but she's got her name.
Is it this lady?
Yes.
Beatrice?
Yeah, Beatrice.
Her name's Slavin. Slavin Fallon Hogan.
Sure. So yeah, scroll down.
Oh, she was on Seinfeld. She's also in Forrest Gump. Was she the bus driver in Forrest Gump? Yeah, she was. How about that?
And she's the bus driver in Forrest Gump. But yeah, What We Do in the Shadows, the animal control officer. It was really weird to see her just pop up in something. So yeah, watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Good for... Oh, that's Siobhan, not Slobin. Siobhan Fallon Hogan. That sounds like a fucking spell from Cinderella.
I was gonna say it sounds like a Dutch name.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, Siabin. Nice knowing you.
Anyways,
But yeah, I was kind of like I guess I was expecting a lot more questions to be answered with this movie, like where they would really go in depth to like all of like the Men in Black world, like in this facility and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's just kind of like that era of movie where it's like we're getting from point A to point B to point C, like kind of just moving through it quickly, step by step. But it fits also with the whole like dynamic between K and J.
yeah.
Where he's like just trying to like train him quickly to turn him over into an agent so Kay can get out of there.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It'd be like training someone at McDonald's. Like, this is the grill. You just flip the burgers, do this, and that. Don't ask too many questions. You just start doing it, and then you'll get the hang of it.
Yeah.
So it kind of actually had a lot of that feel to the movie, which I liked.
Yeah, and like, what was I gonna say? Part of it too is, you know, back in the 90s, especially like comedies, as you can see, it was an hour and a half.
Yeah,
like there was
short.
way more hour and a half movies way back when. Now the standard's like 2 hours, 2 hours 15.
Yeah, I wonder what the budget was for this.
I think that's on IMDb. I think they usually will show that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I'm already doing this now.
All right. That's fine.
I know it's got it on Google really easily.
Well, I mean, I would put in Men in Black budget, not
Usually
just Men in
just
Black.
says it in the info. Jesus.
Yeah.
90 million.
90 million.
Jesus, that's bigger budget than I thought it was going to be.
I bet you anything it was to pay for
The CGI?
some of the CGI and then to pay for Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Rip Torn.
Yeah, but, well, I guess Will Smith was really big at that point.
I mean,
he had already had Fresh Prince, 97. Yeah.
And this was,
he'd
I
already
think,
been a rapper for quite a while.
yeah, and I want to say this is probably getting close. This was right around his big, emergence onto the scene.
Yeah. Well, Independence Day had a smaller budget than this movie. I haven't seen Independence Day either.
You haven't seen Independence Day?
No, I haven't. Was that a real reaction?
Yeah, it was a real reaction. I'm like, shit, you haven't seen Independence Day? Let's find out when the 4th of July is, if it's a Tuesday. And
I also can't believe Men in Black 2 had a $50 million more budget.
4th of July is not a Tuesday, but we will be watching Independence Day and releasing it the Tuesday before 4th of July.
Sounds good.
Thematically go with that. I cannot fucking believe you haven't seen Independence Day.
Yeah. I also don't like what's his name? Who's the guy that everyone likes from Jurassic Park and Independence Day?
Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, I don't like Jeff Goldblum. Shocking, I know.
Yeah, I'm stunned into silence there.
I find him very annoying. But whatever, to each his own.
Yeah. Well, we could still be friends.
So, okay, when did you first see Men in Black? Did you go to the theaters to see it? Or
I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I
would've
don't
been
know,
what?
when I was a fucking kid. I was
5?
5 when it came out.
Okay.
Maybe I saw it in theaters, but I really doubt that.
I doubt it. It was PG-13, John. So I don't think you should have been in theaters seeing this movie.
I saw Die Hard too young, all right?
Not for you.
Yeah, well, Die Hard's rated R, and I saw that movie. So, when I was probably too young for it. Again, my dad let me play Duke Nukem when I was a fucking child, too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he would let me go see Men in Black in theaters. Don't worry.
Okay.
But I don't think I saw it in theaters, just on general principle of it. So,
And it still holds up pretty well, too. 7.3
Oh,
out
yeah.
of 10.
no, this one I think this one's aged really well. I think just it's still a really, really good movie. My favorite joke is when they're at the coroner's office and he neuralizes her, and then Jay keeps talking about the aliens and everything, and he goes to neuralize her again. Jay barely gets his sunglasses on. He's like, dude, you're gonna give her brain cancer or something. But Will Smith's reaction of just trying to get his glasses on quick enough.
Right. How many times do you think you've seen this movie? I mean, is it a shit ton of times, or
I mean,
is
to
it
be
just
completely,
enough to
It's enough where I've seen I can I've got the pacing of it all down.
You've got the
Maybe
scene
about, like-
selection in your head. You know, like each like.
yeah, I don't like.
what
If we're being
happens every 10
entirely
minutes or
honest,
so.
maybe like 10 times. But
Okay, but that's a lot for one movie.
yeah, for one. But I mean, you think about how many times. Like, it's probably been like 5 years since I've even seen this movie.
Oh, really?
Like, I probably didn't watch this since Men in Black 3 came out, and I only saw that once. But
It wasn't as good.
It wasn't. Like, none of them have been as good as the original in my book. But yeah, I mean, just it's a great movie, and again, it blows my mind that you hadn't seen it because it's a really light and kind of fluffy movie too. Like, it doesn't like amount to anything. It's just, but it's fun. There's action. There's comedy. It's
Well, that's
got
the
a
thing
good
for
Will
me.
Smith.
I mean, like, I know it does amount to something eventually because it has 2 sequels and a third one on the way.
Yeah, but I mean, just because a movie is light and fluffy and doesn't amount to anything, I mean, I'm talking more like they even mentioned in the movie, it's like there's always something going on. There's always going to be some big galactic event.
Right.
Whatever, we'll be fine. We always are. So it's just like at the end of it, we know they're going to be okay. Like, we know they're going to sort it. We know it's not going to be like, world changing.
Right.
To use more recent movies, it's not Endgame. It's not Infinity War.
Well, it is, but just no one else knows about it.
Well, no one else knows about it.
And they just know they're going to figure it out
yeah,
anyway.
they'll be fine. But I mean, it doesn't have like the consequences of Infinity War and Endgame and things like that.
Right.
It's just at the end of the movie, at the end of 90 minutes, status quo will be maintained in Men in Black. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, this is the sort of movie that like you could throw on and like I'll sit down, I'll just whatever point you're at, I will watch the rest of that movie.
I might do it now, considering I've seen it now. So
Yeah. What'd you think of the test he had to take at the beginning
I like
to get in?
Yeah,
And like,
I like all the out of the box answers and stuff.
yeah.
And I was even overthinking. I was like, oh wait, maybe that's why they're gonna like him. But Zed still didn't like him. He's just like had to talk to Cave. I was like, are you sure about this guy? He's like, yeah, he's the one I want to. But his big reason was he chased down this one type of alien.
Yeah.
It's like you tell me all those other guys who are like Army Rangers and like fucking Green
Best of the
Berets.
best of the best of the best.
Right.
But
They couldn't run as fast as Will Smith, a beat cop in New York.
Well, I think what it is, and I've seen this explanation, and I felt really stupid that I didn't come to it myself, is the test isn't like that writing test where they're all like uncomfortably trying to write on it. The test is the fact that they will think outside the box.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, until Zed turned to Kay and said, "Are you sure?"
yeah, but
about
also
the scar?"
but I mean, just the way he gave the whole explanation, but then at the end he's like, and I'd appreciate it if you'd stop busting my chops about it. Like, how he said that to Zed when he's like, I appreciate if you just, lay off my back for the decision that I made. And so Zed had the issue with him being anti-authoritarian because he was just so the test was, yes, it was the little girl. Yes, the test was just go grab the damn desk so that you can comfortably take this test.
Right. And I did like his answer. Like, I mean, the whole place is covered with aliens, and there's one little girl where all these monsters are.
Reading a textbook that's way too advanced for her.
Reading about physics. So yeah, and then also, the wheeling over the table. Oh, you guys want to use this?
Yeah.
You guys want to squat down over here?
It's just, yeah, I mean, it was the same thing in like Kingsman.
Yeah.
Like, the solution was always the out of the box solution.
Right. So I did kind of pick up on that, and then like it lost me at the point where Zed was like, I don't know about this guy, because I was thinking like, oh, so Jay really was just wrong in doing the way he was doing things.
Yeah, no.
So I was on that track, and then Zed threw me off of it, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot it had to do with him being the anti-authoritarian type thing.
Well, I mean, it was the same because like Zed's like, you're gonna have to work with him too, basically, or like knows it. It's like, okay, you're gonna have to work with this guy. Mm-hmm. Are you sure you're going to be okay having to deal with the fact that he's gonna probably question you at every step?
Right.
So.
And actually, that's kind of funny because in that book I've been reading about writing and like character development, since Jay's the main character, he kind of has a problem with authority, whereas the Bug, who's the main opponent, well, I guess Tom. Okay, but since the Bug's the main villain in the movie, he has like the inferiority complex, so there's kind of a bit of a parallel there.
Yeah.
And they just kind of, well, Jay actually figures it out. He solves that problem in his way, and the bug just, keeps doing his thing that way. And that's why it kind of leads to the bug's downfall, because he fell for Jay calling him out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he got blown up anyway.
Exactly. From the inside.
But what I've learned is that the best way to write characters is to make your hero and your opponent have the same moral dilemma, but then the hero just has to solve the moral dilemma. Yeah. And it'll eventually, the moral dilemma will be the opponent's downfall because they don't figure it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He learned to actually just do what Kay said and it ended up working out.
Yeah.
It is just a good movie. It's very well put together and stuff. And then it won an Oscar for makeup also.
Yeah.
Which it had to do a lot for all the different kinds of aliens, like especially in the way the eyes blink for most of them.
Yeah. And the dog.
The dog, the insect aliens that drink coffee.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
Who, again, I forgot was in this movie. And it doesn't really look like Tony Shalhoub.
Right, they kind of made him look really weird.
Well, I mean, how many takes did they have to blow his head off, so...
How many times did they blow his head? Just once, right?
Just once.
Okay. Is he in the other movies?
Yes, in 2.
All right.
And guess what?
Gets his head blown off.
Yeah.
I like how he just says, "Do you know how much that stings?"
Yeah.
Like, stings. But then he's, like, really afraid of getting his head blown off again. It's like, I mean, if it just stings, why are you so afraid to get your head blown off?
Yeah, but maybe it hurts, like, way too much.
I guess it should, at least. If you can get your head blown off and you're fine, it should at least hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's, like, no really glaring issues with this movie. I mean, I feel like in 1997, it was, like, the top of CGI and...
Yeah, there's... Like, there's not even plot holes I can think of.
Yeah, not really either. Unless you look at them as the trilogy, in which case, when you said in 2 how What's-Her-Face isn't even there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sets it up for, like, he's been going through partners, so...
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
he
they
could have very
mentioned her
easily
for,
just
like,
gotten
a
rid
moment.
of her also.
Yeah.
Especially since she had no training anyway, and she was just all of a sudden a man in black.
And she knew stuff. Like, she was, like, talking about, like, aliens and shit. Like,
Well, they had to make her a person in black at that point because she did know so much. So, like, well, we just lost that old guy, and then we lost Kay. So I guess we got 2 spots to fill.
Yep.
And I was wondering, though, so since they do letters, it's just, what, does every country or every city just get 26 men in black?
I don't know. Well, I mean... Yeah, it's a good question.
Based on because I'm wondering based on international and stuff. And then, I mean, the only place they worry about really was Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then they go out of town when they hear about Edgar and stuff. But
Maybe.
for the most part, they're located in Manhattan.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'd always assumed was, like, this was it. This was all of Men in Black was right here.
Right.
So...
But based on all the stuff they can do, you would assume that they'd be all over the world.
Yeah, but it's also weird that Zed is the one in charge in Manhattan when we say Z, not Zed.
So I guess that would make you assume that it was started in England first, maybe. No, because
No,
it was
no,
started
they-
at
yeah.
that one landing. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't know then. So it started. How many people did it say
Like,
were there? It couldn't have been
handful, I think.
26. Just a
I think they
handful.
said a handful. Yeah,
Okay.
but...
I mean, it had to at least be up to K because he was actually at the original.
Well, no, it's just their first names. And then they just drop it down to their first initial because his, like, name was John or James or something. And then they just changed it to J.
Yeah, but I mean, they couldn't have 3 J's.
Yeah, good.
Could they?
Yeah.
That'd get confusing.
You would just
I guess
know.
they could.
You would. It's Men in Black. You would just know who they're talking to.
You know what? I'm just going to have to watch the other movies.
Guess
I'm
so.
going to figure this out. Where's the Men in Black wiki? I'm going to do a deep dive into Men in
You
Black.
could probably look it
lore.
up right now. I'm sure the...
But I do kind of like that it leaves room to speculate what the world is like.
Yeah.
Because they were so, like... They had such brevity with the lore of Men in Black. Like, I mean, like, they tell you when it started, and they kind of let you know, like, this shit happens all the time. No
Yep.
matter how crazy it is, believe me, it happens every day. And no one else knows about it.
And yet we all continue... The Earth continues spinning.
Right, and then you just get subtle glimpses to the technology that they have. The
Yep.
fact that they can communicate with aliens, but they don't tell you how they communicate with them. Just tell you, we can do it. Don't worry about why we can do it. Just know that we can do it.
How is unimportant.
Right. And then the subtle references to like what technology they've taken and adapted from alien tech. What'd they say? What are the different inventions that they've gotten from technology? Was it like
just kind of like
CDs and
a
stuff?
lot of stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, most of the tech at Men in Black was borrowed from aliens, but like
at one point, Kay, when he's showing Jay around the offices, it was right before Jay let that super ball bounce all over the office.
Yeah, I think I actually accidentally talked over that bit.
Oh, really?
So I don't remember it. Yeah.
Shame.
But
but it was like a bunch of like base technology. I think they even said like cassette tapes at one point or something.
probably. Elvis was an alien. King's not dead. Yeah. He just went home.
Right. I actually talked over that part, and Kate stopped the movie and rewound it so I could hear it because I missed it. She's like, "Did you hear that?" I was like, "Oh."
And Tommy Lee Jones upside down,
right.
rocking out which is weird because I've always heard Tommy Lee Jones is not like he always like didn't want to do like, or didn't like when other people were like wacky off camera, like allegedly like when like Jim Carrey on the set of Batman Forever.
Oh, okay.
Like tried to like be buddy with him, and Tommy Lee Jones like, I'm not putting up with any of your antics. You know,
he's very kind of clean.
I mean, I've always heard he's an
that's
asshole,
for on the film, and then outside of this, I'm a different guy.
Yeah, but again, I've always heard he's an asshole. So
oh,
like,
really?
Yeah,
that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I always assumed he was probably pretty chill and cool.
Yeah, from everything I've ever heard about Tommy Lee Jones, he's kind of an asshole, but...
That's disappointing.
Well, we're never going to get him on the podcast now either, so...
Way to go.
Who have we lost now? We've lost Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone and Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones and possibly Nick Cage.
We didn't say anything bad about him. We actually said we wanted to see his movie, so...
Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I'll go see shit if Nick Cage is on it, so...
There's a lot of movies I haven't seen with Nick Cage in it, though. He's been making quite a few lately.
He does make a lot.
I do want to see
He doesn't say no to movies.
Getting a little further off topic, I do want to see that one horror movie where him and his wife, their parents...
Mandy?
What?
Mandy? Oh, their parents...
and they try to kill their kids.
I heard that one's not that good.
I actually heard it was good.
Oh, well.
I heard it's over the top, but in a good way.
To be fair, the person I heard it from, I can't trust their opinion on movies, so...
Was it Nick Laudicina?
No, somebody I worked with.
Oh, okay.
Who doesn't work there anymore, but...
Was it the stinky deodorant guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I wouldn't trust his opinion on anything, but...
Especially hygiene.
God, yeah. Yeah, so I'd heard that one was not good, but also I don't really trust that person's opinion. So now I want to see that movie Mandy though that he was in. It was like some weird like psychedelic like revenge slasher type movie that like this like satanic biker cult like kidnaps his girlfriend or some shit, and he goes on like a rampage to get her back, and it's weird and trippy. That's like the best that I know of it. Not seen it, but
have you seen Drive Angry?
No.
Oh, that was kind of a good movie.
I saw Bangkok Dangerous. That was not a good movie.
I didn't even know that movie. I've heard of it, but I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah, don't.
Have you seen Face Off?
I have not seen Face Off.
It's the movie where he takes his face off.
That's
actually a good movie.
I know, and I want to see it, but
I like John Travolta, so.
Yeah, I've just never got around to it.
While you're here, I have that vinyl, What's New Pussycat.
Oh shit, yeah.
I bought that for you months ago, and I kept forgetting that I had it.
I don't even have any way to play it, but
that's fine. It works. I played it when we got home, so
that's good. Did I pay you back for that?
I don't think so. I could check Venmo though. I'll check the transactions.
Anyways, back to Men in Black.
Yeah. I mean,
so does it live up to the hype? You've heard a lot about it, I'm sure, and they've got another one coming out, and
yeah, I think a big part of its hype is nostalgia based because I mean, it came out when a lot of people were kids, and that's the people who love it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't live up to that hype just because I saw it when I was 24, but I enjoyed it. I do agree it was a good movie. It didn't like totally fall short of what I thought it was going to be. It's a different movie than what I thought it was going to be.
Well,
so in that, I guess it kind of lives up to it.
I think we kind of touched on it really briefly, but what movie did you think it was going to be? How did you think it was going to be like?
Well, now it's kind of hard to think of what I thought it was going to be before I had ever seen it. But so they spent a lot of time just getting Will Smith to be into the Men in Black.
Yep.
So I guess I thought there was going to be like, I thought it was going to be like a longer, over more time.
Okay.
So like I thought it was going to kind of be a little more like Kingsman, I guess, in a way, where it's months of training and stuff like that. So I thought they were going to do a lot of training, getting him up to where he is like the best person for the job sort of thing. But see, in that regard though, I'm not disappointed because then it kind of puts you empathize more with Will Smith, where you're seeing all of this for the first time and you're just supposed to understand it.
Yeah, and you're supposed to just go, oh, okay.
And anything you're confused about, it's fine because Will Smith is just as confused about it.
Yep.
So you don't feel like the movie knows more than you do.
Well, no, you feel like the movie knows more than you do, but you're following along with Will Smith.
It's in his point of view.
Exactly. Like, it's supposed to be like, if you don't get it, neither does Will Smith, and that's okay, because the universe, and there's mysteries, and it's just all bigger than you. We're just trying to make sense of what we can understand right this moment.
It's the perfect answer to whenever, say, your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're watching a movie together, and she says, "Who's that guy?" It's like, just don't worry about it. You'll find out. Just let the movie play out, and you'll finally see. Just stop asking questions. So it's that kind.
I've never seen this movie either.
It's a metaphor for that.
Yeah.
So now I just want to, every time, if like Kate's asking questions, like, all right, if we're going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, which she likes, I'm just using this as an example. Okay. She says, why can he only say I am Groot? So I just watch the movie and you'll find out, okay? I'm just going to actually start saying Men in Black, Men in Black. Just remember Men in Black. Okay. You won't know until you know. It's fine. You don't have to know more than the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point for all movies, is you don't have to know more than the characters.
Right. So, yeah, but now that I've just unearthed that little bit of wisdom for myself, because I hadn't really thought about that before, but it is a good metaphor for that. It's like, just go along for the ride. It's definitely one of those movies.
Yep. When
you watch it for the first time, anyway.
Yes.
And like I said, I mean, I don't know what the second one is like, or the third. I mean, I vaguely know the plot of the third one just because it was more recent when I'd seen trailers for it.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with Kay, so they go back in time.
Yeah.
And get Thanos to
help
him.
No, basically, from what I remember of 3, like this alien that Kay had put away years ago escaped, and he's going to go kill Kay, but then he somehow managed to time travel to the past and killed Kay in the past.
Oh.
So that, so now Jay goes back in time.
Further.
Yeah, basically, and works with Josh Brolin.
Who is young Kay. Right.
To stop it.
Okay. So that kind of trope then.
Yeah.
Terminator trope.
Yeah. Basically.
Huh. But anyway, I knew there was time travel involved in that one. Yes. So. But yeah, I mean, I'll see what kind of movie Men in Black 2 is at some point, because I don't know what that's like at all, really, other than what you just said, where it starts off with Jay not being able to work with any partners, so he needs to get Kay back.
Yep. I don't really remember why. I know that there's Johnny Knoxville's in it, and
I did know that.
I don't remember.
He has 2 heads, doesn't he?
Yes.
Okay, I had seen that on TV a little bit, like flashes of that.
But
honestly, I thought it was from the first one, though, so I was like, where is he?
Come on, when's Johnny Knoxville going to show up? But yeah, I don't really remember what the bad guy alien wanted in that movie. It's been a while.
No, I don't know either. But yeah. So that's really the only thing I kind of thought the movie was going to do. I thought it was going to be way more in-depth
than it was.
Right. But it stayed surface level, and that kind of served the purpose of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that helped. And I think it helped with the themes of, it's just like, there's shit bigger than us.
Right.
So just, don't think too hard about it. Just try and live in the moment.
Right. And like you said, it really just plays to the theme of the movie. Like, sometimes it can be lazy writing. Mm-hmm. But I think it was totally intentional with this movie.
Yeah.
And
I think another movie that actually does that sort of thing well, where like everybody else, I mean, obviously, it's a little different from the movie I'm going to bring up, but like where everybody involved, they just know, they just get it. They know the rules. This is how it works. They know the things to say to get the things to happen. The other movie that really strikes that really well for me is the John Wick series.
Oh,
where it's like they never explain it, but you understand it because it just like he said the thing here, and that's why at the hotel, especially the stuff at the hotel,
you get it based on everyone else's reactions.
Exactly. It's like he's like John Wick asks a question, they're like, we understand what you mean, and like he gets ushered to where he needs to go,
and based on everyone knowing exactly who he is.
Yes.
And they obviously have a reaction to his backstory every time his name is mentioned.
Yeah.
Like some kind of memory of him triggers their reaction, which makes you think like, oh, something happened here. But you don't need to know. You just need to know it means something to them.
Exactly. It's like you never need to know exactly the things John Wick did in the past. You just need to know that everybody's fucking scared of him.
Right. That's what made the first one so good.
Yeah, and the second one.
I've only seen the second one once, so I don't really remember it.
I saw that 2-3 times in theaters.
Oh, really?
Fucking love John. I like John Wick 2 better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The fucking House of Mirrors fight at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I barely remember that.
Oh man, like I was just like, where the fuck did they have the camera? Because literally it was just all mirrors constantly. Like
it could have been two-way glass.
It's possible.
Or one-way glass. I mean,
that's actually probably the most likely one.
But
there we go.
Yeah, I just showed the first John Wick to Kate the other day, and she really liked it too. So that one's fresh in my mind. And yeah, it does do a good job. Same level, same type of thing as that.
Yeah, it's just like
where it's all very surface level. You don't really need to know too much about the history of the characters in the movie.
Just know that they have a history, and they know what the fuck they're doing, and that's all you need.
Except for Theon Greyjoy, he had no idea what was going on.
No, but fuck that guy in that movie.
Right. Well. Fuck him in the first few seasons of Game of Thrones also.
That's fair. Yeah. And you haven't watched season 8 at all, so.
No, sorry.
So, we're not going to spoil it here anyways, because...
I do know that Cersei eats the dragon, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
with the fork
that got spoiled for me on Twitter.
Yeah, like fork and knife, just while it's alive, she eats the dragon.
Right.
It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, and she ate Tyrion's nose too, so he looked more like he's supposed to in the book.
Yeah. Well, but
that was weird how they shoehorned that in there.
Yeah, but it was but like at first you're like it was kind of a weird like play one where like with like a baby where you take it's like you got your thumb, and then she pretends to eat it and then his nose disappeared. It was like what the fuck?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know that's how it happened.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Knew it happened. It was bizarre.
She was really hungry that season. I think
she was.
Yeah. Huh.
She just ate a whole dragon in Tyrion's nose.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't even...
And she
didn't even apologize.
No.
She just did it.
She was like, fuck you, I'm Daenerys.
Yeah.
And kept going.
And then left her Starbucks. Ned Stark became a White Walker. That was scary.
Yeah. And then she ate Ned Stark, too.
And then she became a White Walker. I wonder if that could happen. Could you eat White Walker's flesh and then become a White Walker? Is it zombie-based?
No.
Or their spell just makes anything dead come to life?
And their magic, basically, it has to already be dead.
Okay.
And then as seen in the episode Hard Home, after the Whites and the White Walkers killed everybody there, and like they fought as hard as they could but couldn't succeed, and the Night King standing alone on the beach, he raises his arms and all the fucking dead silence, everything else fucking gets back up.
Right.
Fucking great moment. One of the best moments on that show. Yeah, so that's like the Night King just raises his hands.
Yeah, I've seen that.
All
episode.
the dead stand up. And then Daenerys eats them.
Cersei.
Oh, it was Cersei? I thought we were talking about Daenerys.
No, I said Cersei.
Oh, see, I switched to Daenerys. I heard.
God damn it, John. Daenerys eats the horse heart. Cersei eats everything else.
Well,
she has a severe eating disorder in season 8. She's now played by Rebel Wilson.
Spoiler alert, Cersei is Daenerys the whole time.
Ooh.
It's the Fight Club twist.
Cersei is what Daenerys could become.
Yeah.
Because, the Targaryens, they're incestuous.
Yeah.
Just based on the relationship with Jon Snow, definitely incestuous.
Well, I mean, if you listen to anybody talk about it before, like every Targaryen was fucking every other Targaryen.
I know.
So.
Well, that was her excuse that why her and Jaime could be together. She's like, the Targaryens used to do it. It's very popular. It's like, yeah, well, look at
with the
Mad
Targaryens.
King. Well, look how the Mad King turned out.
Look how Joffrey turned out.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
Yeah, but
because
that's
he's
just
an
one
incest
out of
baby.
3. The other 2 were cool.
That's true. While they were alive.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. The
Fuck it,
Tomlin scene did surprise me.
The Tommen one surprised me too.
I was like, oh. I've seen the what's her name? Not Marjorie.
Her daughter?
Yeah. What's her name?
Marcella?
Marcella, yeah. That one I seen coming a mile away.
Yeah.
I was like, this crazy dorm
Well, and obviously,
asshole bitch.
obviously Joffrey had to die at some point.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird to think, like, he was such a big player in the show. He was
3?
4. The beginning of season 4, he died.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So it's weird to think, like, now at the end of the show, how many characters who were important before don't matter now.
Yeah, literally a halfway point.
Yeah.
And then they spent pretty much all of season 4 with Tyrion's trial then, they must have, right?
A lot of it was Tyrion. Yeah, that's
because
King's
the
Landing
season
was
finale
mostly
is when he kills Tywin.
and Shay.
And Shay, yeah. Shay had it coming.
Yeah, I did not like the character of Shay at all the entire time I watched the show.
I didn't mind her so much because I liked her kind of sort of relationship with Sansa.
Yeah, but like the whole
But then
time,
I didn't
everything.
like her calling Tywin my lion. I was like, oh,
I didn't like that, but I didn't like every time. Like Tyrion's like, "Hey, we need to do this because it will keep you safe." And she's like, "No, you just don't love me." It's like, dude, fucking stop. He's trying to fucking help. Just listen to Tyrion.
Don't eat the help.
But anyways, Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we were talking about. We got kind of off topic there.
That's fine. We kind of needed to extend this a little bit just so we get in the flow of talking again.
That's true. Yeah. Again, shit. It's been like 2-3 weeks since we've recorded an episode.
Yeah, it's been since we recorded Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Shit. Yeah. When did Mortal Kombat 11 come out? Because it was just about then.
It was 2 weeks before that.
No. Yeah, it was. Holy shit.
So 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. When did the MK11 beta come out? Because I think that weekend is when we recorded.
It was the weekend before. Because we recorded the
Jesus
Sunday,
Christ.
and it was coming out the Saturday after.
It was like the beginning of April was the last time we fucking recorded.
So yeah, about a month ago.
Shit. Yeah, we need to get
We're
back.
bad people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll create a backlog again, I guess.
We'll probably start doing a backlog. We'll definitely have to watch Independence Day and release that for 4th of July to be timely.
And don't worry, kids. I'm unemployed now, so I've got plenty of time to record podcasts that no one listens to.
Yeah, except you, Nick, and Kate. And
Kate doesn't listen.
Not Kate. Never mind. So just Nick. I think my friend Jeff listens to him. At least he told me he was subscribed to the Spotify list. So
well, okay, I've got people subscribed anyway.
yeah, so we're
But I just know they don't listen.
yeah. So if you guys are listening, thank you for all like maybe 5 of you tops.
Right. And just to say this, if you for some reason tweet at us and you have any issues with the podcast, like the way it sounds or anything, Jake, am the one who quote unquote produces the podcast.
Yep.
John is the one who's running
Social.
the social media for everything, the Instagram and the Twitter, because I can't keep up with it, or I don't know if he's going to, so I don't want to send out a tweet or Instagram post if he's going to.
So now we actually have
Just
jobs assigned for this fucking thing.
yes. So if you have any questions about the way it's produced, address them to me. Let's reiterate the social medias then. And
Yeah. So since it's been a while. Well, I mean, if they're listening, that's only been a week off. But for us, it's been a while. We are now both on Spotify and iTunes.
Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, I'll work on getting it on Google Play podcast also.
For those of you who use that,
Some people do. I was
okay.
surprised. At Chrysler, a bunch of people did.
Interesting.
Just thought it was weird.
But and that's late to the show on both of those.
Late to the show podcast.
Late to the show podcast.
And I
we
will
have a
say
link
this.
to our Spotify on our Instagram.
Yep.
Our website on Instagram is the Spotify one because I'll probably make the link on our Twitter, the iTunes one, just to fucking make things confusing.
Well, why don't we just put both links on each thing?
Well, the issue is you can only have one website on Instagram.
I know, but you can just put it in the
Put them both in the bio. Yeah. And I got rid of the SoundCloud one because we can't keep uploading to SoundCloud because
I just deleted everything off of SoundCloud.
We're not paying for SoundCloud. So if you're looking for it on SoundCloud, we are not there anymore. But we are Late to the Show podcast on both iTunes and Spotify.
Correctamundo. And Anchor.fm if you listen to your podcast through there.
Okay, we're also
That's
on
the website that
Anchor.fm.
puts it to Spotify and iTunes.
Oh, okay.
We put it up there first, and then it links with the RSS feed to both of those.
Nice. Okay, so Anchor.fm. I'll get all this information put into the Instagram. We'll get all the links and shit put where it needs to go.
Right. If you want to email us any questions or any suggestions for movies, it's latetothepodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
We couldn't get late to the show, so the email is latetothepodcast@gmail.com.
Which is also the Instagram, Late to the Podcast for Instagram.
And then Twitter is LTTS Podcast.
It's LTTS Podcast. We're still on YouTube also. Right. If you want to watch a single frame for like an hour or so.
Right.
What else are we? You are at Jake Lavoie.
Yes, I am. I changed my Twitter, kids, so it's a little easier. Either listed as Jake the Boy or my Twitter handle is Jake_Lavoie. Lavoy.
I am still at Rosendoom 2.
The second one.
Yes, because I refuse to go through the process of fixing
Deleting
that.
the 2.
So I'm at Rosendoom 2 on Twitter. I'm Rosendoom 1 on Instagram, but I
still needed the number, huh?
Yeah, I still needed the number. I don't know why for that one. I think you just have to have a number or some shit. I don't fucking know why I have a number in my Instagram. For the most part, the only things I have there are little snippets from when I did my movie review channel on YouTube that I don't do anymore. Since it just like I stopped being happy with how that was turning out. And now I got this podcast to talk about movies instead. So
cool.
Yeah, I think that's about all the social shit, and I think that's all the housekeeping that we needed to do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do we want to look through the list and announce a movie for next week's podcast? Because
sure.
We're going to have to watch something and talk about it by next week. What the fuck did we do before? We did MK Annihilation before this, and then we did Men in Black for this. Mm-hmm. What kind of movie do you want to do next week? Like we done a couple.
Do you want to do a spooky movie? We can do The Exorcist.
Nick, I know you really want us to do The Exorcist. I don't know if I want to do The Exorcist right now. It's not really Exorcist season.
Yeah,
it's summertime.
I know, but then we're gonna have like 20 more episodes before it is Exorcist season.
That's true. I mean, but what are we doing next week?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can watch The Exorcist and do that podcast, but we need something for next week.
Do you want to do old? Would you want to go old and go Planet of the Apes?
We could.
I know Kate's been asking me about when we're going to be doing Friday the 13th.
I mean,
There's not one coming up until September, so.
Well, again, if we're backlogging, I mean, we can always just record it and then release it later.
Hey, happy Friday the 13th, y'all.
Doesn't matter. We release on Tuesdays.
In June. Let's see.
I'm enjoying keeping kind of the goofy one. You haven't seen, and I would like to do another one that you haven't seen that I've seen.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm digging the show. Would you want to do What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah. When did that movie come out? How old is that movie?
It's not that old, but it's more of a cult following type of movie. So, like, I know not a lot of people that I've talked with have seen it. What We Do in the Shadows, 2014. Fucking beat you to it.
Well, I need to figure out where I can get it at.
That's a good question. It's on.
It's on YouTube. Oh, Prime Video. Oh, $2.99.
Believe me, for $2.99, it's a fucking steal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, I'm really enjoying the show, and Planet of the Apes. That's another one that you've seen that I haven't, and as we've mentioned, there haven't been a whole lot that I've seen that you haven't.
That's fair.
It's kind of a goofy movie. I know we're going to kind of keep in that. It's a mockumentary.
Is it a mockumentary?
It is a mockumentary. It's all done documentary style.
Really?
Yes.
So about what though? I guess
About vampires who are roommates, but it takes place in New Zealand.
Okay.
It's got it's directed by Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
It's got Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, and they're the only two names that I know. Jermaine Clement actually is the executive producer on the TV series.
Okay.
And Taika Waititi actually directed the pilot for the TV series.
Oh, dope.
But the TV series is unrelated to... It's got the same rules, but it's unrelated to the movie so far. I would like to see some of the characters from the movie pop up.
And is it all narrative style, the TV show?
Yeah. No, it's also documentary style.
Oh, it is?
It's all shot, basically done the same way.
Oh, okay.
Like, the premise for the movie is basically like a documentary crew. Like, they've somehow... I don't exactly remember. They know, like... They're there to document the life of how vampires live in modern day.
So they already know that vampires exist.
Yeah, basically, like, vampires are still supposed to be a secret, but, like, the documentary crew knows that they exist, and, like, these four roommates who all live, like, you know, live together are going to fucking, like, document just how, you know, what it is to be a vampire in modern day, basically.
Okay.
Like, and they're all, like, hundreds of years old.
It looked a lot like Nosferatu makeup also. Is that
One
how
of
it is
them,
the
though.
whole time?
One of them is.
Oh, it's just one?
One of them is, because he's like thousands of years old. Like, he's
the oldest one looks
super
like Nosferatu.
old. Yeah, I was gonna not mention it, but like he doesn't talk, and he's like everybody else they're just kind of like creeped out by him, and they're just like,
And he just lives with them?
and he's one of the roommates who lives there. But yeah, it's really good. It's kind of dry humor, so just kind of heads up for that. But I really enjoyed it, and so I think you'll like it.
Okay, I'm down to do that for next week then.
Yeah, so we'll do what we do in the shadows for next week, and then we probably want to get a couple podcasts recorded for next week.
Right.
Recorded next week so we can start getting a backlog.
Right. Well, free every day now.
Yep.
Your boy is unemployed.
Well, you're laid off.
Yeah, but I'm collecting unemployment. So
Yeah. Well,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
yeah, but I mean, you might get your job back if they.
Not for more than 6 months.
Wait, what?
Not for more than 6 months.
You need to find a new job. You need to find a new place
I've got
to
time
work.
though. I've got 13 weeks to find a new job.
Yeah. So
That's when I stop collecting 75% of my wage for nothing.
So yeah, find a new.
Maybe. Yeah, I gotta find something new. I'm looking. I've applied.
All right. You want to work in a warehouse?
No.
Okay.
Nick also offered me the third shift job. Like, I just let you know if you ever wanted a job, I've got one guaranteed for you. So maybe at some point I'll pick that up. I might also just work part-time at Main Street Meats.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That actually would be dope since it's grilling season now.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
But yeah, so that's the end of the podcast. Once again, also a friend of mine, Dylan Hatcher, The Scene That Got You. After Wednesday, May 15th, look for my episode. I can't tell you the movie. He wants to guess the movie.
oh,
This is
like
going to be going up before that. So what it is
yeah,
we get there, he starts the podcast, and then he guesses the movie I guess he tries to think in his mind what the movie could be. I tell him on the podcast, it's this movie. Then we talk about it for a little bit, hit pause on the podcast, go watch it, and then immediately come back and talk about it.
oh,
The first episode was 30 minutes long, so I'm assuming it's going to be something like that. Yeah. And then we talk about it from there after we've both watched it.
that's actually a really interesting concept. Mm-hmm. I like that.
So we'll be and he said he's looking for more guests and stuff. He does it every month, so I mean, at some point maybe you'll see John's name up on the list also.
Perhaps.
I know his is on Spotify, iTunes, and I believe it's going up on Google Play if it's not already. Mm-hmm. But look for it there.
So where does it? Anyways. No, later.
Okay.
Not important.
He's in Rockford, if that's your question.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, unimportant.
That's the
Dylan,
end.
you owe us a plug. We plugged you. You plug us back.
I'll ask him when we record.
Or you just plug us, Jake, while you're there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the show. Next week we'll be doing
What we do in the
shadows. Don't be late.